Hi, I think I'm live. Thank you for joining me for my Tuesday Piano Tips Live here in the new and returning piano learners Facebook group. Today I'm going to share how to overcome obstacles and motivate yourself to practice piano. So please, first of all, let me know how you're joining me with a hashtag live or a hashtag replay, how you found that. Let me know that in the comments, hashtag live or hashtag replay. And please feel free as I go through this today to comment below as I go through this presentation. If you got any tips or suggestions, or if you've got concerns or questions, go ahead and drop that in the comment anytime. It's not interrupting me, and I'll always go back and check them, even if you catch the replay. So, excuse me, as usual, my allergies are attacking me. If you don't know me, I'm Jenny Leigh Hodgins. Hello, I'm the host of the new and returning Piano Learners Facebook group, and welcome if you just joined us. And just a quick snapshot of my background, just in case you don't know who I am and what I'm doing here. I've composed and performed as a solo pianist and vocalist, and I taught piano music and chorus and music in the public school system even for 30 years. I ran a private piano studio with about 32 students on average. I taught group piano and keyboard classes for kids as young as 5 to adults as old as 90. I worked with seniors, wrote and directed and worked with seniors and kids both doing musicals for different facilities. And I worked as a public school music teacher and as a chorus director, community and in the schools. So, but however, due to life changes, there's been a time gap for me between my piano practice routine until recently. So now I'm, like many of you, a returning piano learner. And I now work from home as a blogger and podcaster. I'm writing books and building courses for YourCreativeChord.com, which is my main website hub. And I launched this group to hold myself accountable as I share what works for me and has worked for thousands of my students over many years. And I really hope to encourage you toward, joyful piano progress too. As this group is also open to other piano experts, teachers, course creators, music material creators, apps and games people. As I'm growing this group, more and more of those people are going to be interacting as well. And I'm really happy to be encouraged and motivated and inspired by and learn from these piano experts in the group as well. I do want to remind you, if you are a piano expert, every Saturday I'll have a Saturday Share post where you can hurl your information in there. Let us know what your offerings are, how you can help new and returning piano learners. Please don't post it in the discussion area. Always watch for that Saturday Share post, and then you're welcome to let us know everything you've got, links and videos and photos, whatever you got. So let's dive in. Excuse me. First of all, I want to say how much I love. It's a small group. I just launched this group in January, but it's already a very supportive community of people who love playing the piano and piano music. And recently I was having a chat with one of the members, Maria Dolnicki. I hope I said your last name right, Maria. And she's in Canada, and she's a piano teacher and a pianist. And we were just having a little chat about challenges that we've both been facing, that many of us are facing, about how to break through things like the pandemic division and the isolation caused funk from the pandemic that we've all been experiencing for over 2 years now. And we talked about the negative impact of this pandemic funk, and because things aren't normal, things aren't quite the way they used to be pre-pandemic. And we talked about, even without the pandemic, the challenges that we have as busy adults wanting to start the piano or keep up piano learning, and even the challenges that, like Maria, piano teachers have trying to motivate themselves and their students toward consistent piano progress. And I've been through that myself in multiple rounds throughout my career as a music and piano teacher. And now as a live-in caregiver for my elder mother, I'm juggling my work life and my creative projects with family and community volunteerism. So it's challenging as a busy adult for all of us. And honestly, we were discussing how the pandemic makes it even more challenging because there are less opportunities for, social interaction and a shift from live to digital performances for musical performances like piano recitals, or for piano teachers, or like Maria, excuse me, who had made a lot of her income pre-pandemic from accompanying other people or performances. And then there's also because of the pandemic, challenges that we face or concerns that we have about the safety and the risk for others. Like my mother's high risk, so I have to be like bulldog and be very careful. So the pandemic has really presented deeper emotional and mental challenges. Even if you don't have some of those concerns that I just mentioned, things aren't normal, yet. And regardless of where your politics lie on that issue, it's still not quite the normal societal life that we are used to. And because things aren't quite normal, there's like a pre-pandemic mentality and way of life. And hopefully there's going to be a post-pandemic. We can get back to that sort of thing. But I don't think it's going back. We're going forward to a new way, I think. So all these emotional and mental challenges can drain you. That's what Maria and I were talking about. And this can interfere with motivation to enjoy and keep your piano progress going. So ironically, she was sharing this with me, and it just dawned on me that ironically, practicing piano and creating progress in your piano learning journey is the perfect remedy for all of this, because it's stress of different sorts in different ways. So first, I just wanted to pop in, and I'm going to talk about this and a few ideas that might help motivate you. It's definitely motivated me, and Maria has motivated herself and me through our conversation, which is why I'm popping in to share it. But first, I want to say, I think we need to recognize this is an unprecedented time of social, mental, emotional challenge. Things don't go on as usual or normal because of the pandemic and its related problems. We keep getting over things, and then something else, spikes again, and we have to change and shift, and there's different information. It's like, how do you keep up? And I've personally struggled with this myself, with the division in perspective in dealing with the pandemic, the dramatic change in my social interactions because of my desire to keep my mother safe. And I've had to deal with family illnesses and even loss. And having those experiences in a pandemic is exponentially harder. It's hard enough, but in a pandemic, it makes it a lot harder. So I just want to acknowledge the elephant in the room. The pandemic is a source of frustration and angst for all of us. Even if you're not completely cognizant of it, society has changed because of this. Let me know in the comments if you can relate. Drop something. Just let me know if that makes sense to you. If you can relate to that, if you've had challenges with it. I'm not here to spark a political debate. That's not it. It's just acknowledging the stress and how hard stress makes it to get motivated. So today I want to talk about, honestly, the way I look at it is that maintaining motivation for myself, for you in piano progress, despite being a busy adult and the pandemic, alongside if you're like Maria, a teaching schedule, or if you're working or whatever, this to me screams of self-care. And I know that's kind of a trendy thing, but first thing I just want to say is go easy on yourself, mentally and emotionally. Go easy on yourself. We should go easy on each other too. And it reminds me of, as you know, I practice Buddhism as an SGI member, and it reminds me of cause and effect about your piano music. If you want to know what your piano progress is going to look like in the future, you've got to look at the causes you're making right now in the present. And the fastest way to bring out your potential, from my experience anyway, from my students and for myself, is to battle directly with your weakness. For example, if you don't have any motivation, if you're lacking motivation to practice the piano consistently, that's your weakness. And I think we all experience that as busy adults. It's a challenge to keep moving forward, and it's a challenge if you're a teacher to get your students to be motivated. Excuse me. And if we give in to this lethargy or this lack of motivation, or just feeling like you just don't want to do it, if you give in to that, you're not going to get any better at the piano. And you're not going to feel happy about yourself. And the less you practice, the less you're going to feel like practicing. And then you get down on yourself if you're anything like me. So I'm going to hit the nail on the head. Directly addressing this lack of motivation, actually, if you address it directly, you're going to be able to turn that weakness into your strength. And what I do, I look at my whatever. If you're burnout, that's a different thing. If you're completely burnout, you might just need a day off. You might just need a break. That's a different thing. That's part of self-care. But if you're just kind of procrastinating, or you haven't set yourself into a rhythm yet, or you just don't feel like it, you've got to address that lack of motivation, that weakness. And the way I look at it is that weakness is my enemy. And by looking at it that way and battling directly with it, I want to win over it. And it gives me the energy to do that. And then once I start, practicing actually gets easier. So I just want to recognize that all the obstacles and the stress and the challenges that we all feel about getting motivated to practice piano consistently, these are things that can be dramatically and positively impacted by practicing the piano. So playing the piano is itself the remedy to all this stress. And I've done articles about this and blogs about this where I've researched, and I quoted from a book recently, Sanjay Gupta, who talks about keeping your brain sharp. Learning the piano is scientifically proven to decrease your stress and lift your mood. So that's a big reason to get at it, long story shorter. But you also have to recognize that this is not going to happen all at once, and you don't need to tackle it like it's a mountain and do it all at once. That's how you develop, tendinitis or problems in your hands and things. And you can easily hit a brick wall if you go at it too much with a gusto. You have to start, I think, with a goal. You have to build your way towards accumulating that mountain of progress. And so don't overwhelm yourself with the goal of where you want to be. Don't think about how far away you are from where you used to be if you're returning to the piano, or if you're new. Don't think about how far behind you. It doesn't matter. Just start taking small steps. And since we are repeatedly facing negativity in our daily life as busy adults, we really do benefit from finding proactive ways to decrease this stress and raise our inner energy. And practicing the piano is a wonderful way for this kind of wellness. But you have to take action. And taking action itself leads to winning. Winning a personal victory in your goals, your piano practice goals, to get consistent with practicing, it's going to lift your mood, make you feel better, feel confident, and that's going to shift your momentum, and it's going to become easier. It's amazing. I was just talking about this, kind of veering off topic a little bit. I was talking to a friend of mine about, she struggles with exercise. She struggles with getting outside. And I love nature. I mean, I love immersing myself in nature and walking and good long walks. And she's having a hard time getting outside and doing the walk. And I told her, and this applies to piano, but I told her, when I go outside and I just push myself to take just a 5-minute walk, for me, it tends to go longer because I start to enjoy it. It goes longer, and I immediately come back feeling lighter, happier, more energetic. I feel better. I sleep better because there's all this research behind that, of course. The sunlight, the circadian rhythms get jogged into it and helps your sleep better. You're breathing fresh air, and then nature itself is gorgeous and inspiring. And then the fact that you're moving, increases your oxygen. There's all this stuff happening just by getting out and doing it. Well, the same thing applies to piano. As soon as you start, it's amazing. Already you're going to be benefiting, and that will build some momentum. So first I'm just popping in here to give us all motivation. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about, how Maria, one of our group members and expert piano teachers, inspired me. I'm going to share her idea. But first I want to say, make that determination that you will practice. That's the first step. Make the determination that you're going to practice. Push away from, your laziness or your lack of time excuses, or, you don't have enough in your schedule. Just start planting the idea that you believe in yourself and your ability to improve at the piano, because what you focus on is going to grow. Also, I was going to say, one of the things I do is I design things from nature. I told you I love nature, so I take photos. And this is a photo I took locally at the Arboretum on a walk. And then I design, I just use simple quotes, and I made myself a journal. And I keep this journal right next to my piano area, and I keep it so that I can see it, so that I can remind myself very simply with something positive. Believe in yourself. Just keep going. Something as simple as that can really help to keep you motivated. So here's what what Maria and I were talking about is, and please chime in if this resonates, or if you've got a question or a concern, or if you've got a problem, whatever, let me know, in the comments anytime. One of the best things we can do to get motivated to practice the piano and build some solid momentum is through accountability. And so if, commit yourself to hold up to your end of the bargain with somebody else. So, for example, I know if you're counting on me, then I'm more inclined to keep myself responsible. I'll show up. And by the way, I just heard this on a podcast today. It was called the Bootability Podcast, really good podcast. But they talked about the definition of being responsible simply means being able to respond. It's not this heavy burden. Oh my God, I got to be responsible. It's not a heavy burden. It's just a light, simple action forward, a small step. That's being responsible. So if you choose your response to take action towards playing the piano every day, or if you do it on a schedule for 5 days a week, whatever you decide is going to work for you, if you take action by being accountable, it's going to pull you up to a new level of energy towards your piano progress. That action is also part, in my mind, is part of being a good friend, being accountable to someone else, taking that action. And it shows sincerity, and it shows character. It develops your character to be accountable to somebody. And it's going to encourage somebody else. Maria already encouraged me, and I'm going to share a little bit more about that in just a second. It just inspired me to talk about this today, and it's inspiring me about my own piano progress, which I'll share some ideas in just a second. But the bottom line is, brightening somebody else's way by holding yourself accountable to them is going to light your own path. It's a win-win. So, and piano is such a lonely, task because, typically we do it by ourselves for the most part, unless you've got a group class or you're in a group like this where you can discuss with other people. It can be a lonely thing, and that's an easy way to lose your motivation. So we have to win against that kind of lethargy. We have to win against a full schedule as a busy adult, and all these mental, emotional blocks, or even depression that's come out of this, pandemic era. But to win against that, all you have to do is take a step of action every day. A step. That's not a mountain. It's just a step. And, I look at it this way. The negativity sometimes that comes up that keeps us from or holds us back from practicing more consistently, whatever it is, we all have different ways of looking at it. It's actually, I look at it as a catalyst, really, to push us forward for our joyful progress. As long as we use that negativity as a springboard to move ourselves into action. So, like I said earlier, I kind of look at any of my doubt or my hesitation or my laziness, or I'm just not in the mood, or my busy schedule, or I'm tired. I look at that as my enemy. That's the negativity, and I just characterize it as that's the devilish function in my life, and I'm going to win against it. And it kind of gives me motivation. I'm in like competition with this thing, and this thing is my weakness. So that's just how I look at, how can I battle against my lack of motivation? And I want to share in our conversation earlier, Maria in the group, Maria Dolnicki, I hope I'm saying that right. She's holding herself accountable with a teaching goal that she set this week for her piano students, which I think is awesome, and I want to share it with you. I'm adopting it a little bit. And let's hold each other accountable with this, inspired by Maria and her students. I'm going to adopt her spirit of accountability to her students and for us in this group. So I'm challenging myself, and I challenge you right now with what I'm going to propose. So this week is the week of piano practice challenge for all of us. And we're going to adopt Maria's idea. I'm stealing these ideas directly from Maria and what she's doing with her students. So Maria is asking her students to set a piano practice schedule this week that is going to challenge themselves to practice piano 5 days a week. I personally encourage you with the goal of practicing every single day, even if you have to use my 5-minute rule. And if you don't know what that is, it's going to be popping up in the guides soon. But the gist is just sit at your piano for 5 minutes, even if you don't have the energy to do anything, or just listen to music for 5 minutes, but don't miss a day if you can all help that. So we're going to encourage each other to practice whatever you decide, 5 days, or I'm going to try every day. Decide what time of day you're going to practice, or if you're going to split your practice up, breakfast, lunch, when you get home from work, before bedtime, whatever works for you. Excuse me. Decide in advance what you're going to practice. Keep a log of your practice sessions. This is all the stuff that Marie is having her students do, and she's decided to do it herself, to hold herself accountable. And now I'm going to hold myself accountable on it, and I'm asking you to hold yourself accountable. If you want a log, excuse me, if you want a practice log, I've designed one. I'm going to see if I can share the screen and show you what it looks like. I lied. I don't think I can do that quickly. So without wasting your time, I'll hold it up, just my copy of it. If you want to use my piano practice tracker, if you'd like a copy for yourself, then just in the comments, just drop the word tracker, and then I'll DM you and figure out how to email it to you. But this is my practice tracker that I designed. I'll hold it back a little bit. And I just stuck it inside this clear folder. It looks like this, basically. And it has, if I can hold it close enough, days of the week, different sections of things that I'm going to, warm-ups, technique, sight reading, things like that. What are my practice pieces over here. And then I put notes here and memorized repertoire. And then I always have how I'm going to reward myself down here. And I even have a reward for myself during practice session. I'll show you what that looks like. So like I said, if you want to use mine, just, drop a tracker in the comments and I'll send you mine. And I'm going to move forward here in just a second. But as you can see, hopefully you can see, I can't see. But basically, I'm going to start today. As soon as I get off this live, I'm going to be practicing. And then I'll check off each one of these sections under Tuesday. But my warm-up is my memorized repertoire. And I'm going to be working on mindfulness and playing with suppleness, just really being gentle at the piano and being mindful. That's like my goal during my warm-up. And I'm going to play my memorized repertoire for my warm-up because it's already memorized and it's easier. It's kind of familiar to me. So I'm going to warm up with that gently. And then I have technique. You can see I'm doing some Hanon with different dynamics. I'm sorry, you probably can't even read my handwriting, but basically I have a warm up of technique. I do some scales or some arpeggios or whatever, and I have my goals and what I'm going to work on with rhythms. And the new material is, I just numbered it. I put all the names of my pieces here, and I've got some new pieces. So number 3 and 4 and 5, I'm going to be working on my fingering, and then my phrasing. So you can just kind of see how I fill out my practice tracker. And these are my goals for what I'm going to be working on the next several weeks. And I've given myself notes on, don't overwhelm yourself, choose certain things, step by step kind of stuff. So you can use your own ideas for whatever, list the name of your pieces that you're going to practice. This is how you can keep a log of when you do get it done. You can keep a log of it for the week. And then Maria's idea that she's sharing with her students that she's doing herself, and I'm holding myself accountable for as well, and I'm challenging you to do, is to set a couple of clear practice goals. So I've already told you my goal this week is on my new pieces is to work on my fingering, to learn the fingering. And then my goal for all of my music this week, I'm practicing with mindfulness, a sense of awareness and just being versus doing, just really relaxing as I'm practicing and trusting myself, and just a really kind of a gratitude to the music as I'm playing it, really deeply listening and being aware of everything, just really relaxing into my being state, just mindfully enjoying my practice instead of beating myself over the head about all the details of my practice. So for me, it's learning the fingering and trying to be mindful and relaxing, immersing myself in the music. I'm letting go of judgment and just allowing myself to be in the moment as I practice at the piano. So even if I'm focusing on a goal like fingering, my main focus is mindfulness and allowing myself to trust in my potential for musical progress and just, enjoying it. Don't beat yourself up about your goals is the point. As the week goes on, I'm going to be, we're going to use Maria's idea here with her students to hold each other accountable. And I'm going to drop some posts in the group so we can let each other know how is your practice session going. Share your goals with us. Share your progress if you'd like. Or you can even snap a pic, of your piano practice tracker, how you're keeping track of things, whether it's my tracker here or if you got your own system. And you might even have a tip. This is another thing Maria's doing. She's asking her students to share tips that are working during your practice session. So her students are going to practice, and then they're going to come back and share tips that are working for them in their practice so that other students might learn from that. They might be able to adopt that tip in their piano practice. So I'm challenging you to do the same. I'm going to be practicing myself exactly these ideas that Maria is sharing. And if I have a tip that I feel is going to help you, I'm going to pop in, and in the posts, I'll drop a post, and we can all share our tips that are working during our piano practice session. And hopefully that's going to help, somebody else have a breakthrough in their piano progress at the piano, as well. So please let me know in the comments if this is motivating you to join in this week's piano practice challenge inspired by Maria Dolnicki, and share your goals or your practice log in the comments below. I'll share some more posts throughout the week so we can see how we're progressing. And let's really encourage each other and hold each other accountable. Don't worry. You don't need to do it the way I'm doing it. Do what works for you so that you're taking a step every day. A small step accumulates. And don't forget, drop the word tracker in the comments if you want my piano practice tracker, if you haven't gotten it. And I want to thank you, Maria Dolnicki, for these wonderful ideas to inspire us on this week's piano practice challenge. Meanwhile, if you just got here with a replay, please let me know, #live or #replay, how you got here, and drop a question or a concern, or go ahead and share a tip now that's working for you in your piano practice, or celebrate a victory in your piano learning this week and let us know what that is. You might inspire or be inspired by somebody else in here by doing so, engaging that way. By the way, if you're new to the group, first of all, welcome again. And don't forget, go to that featured section at the top of this group and look for that picture of me that talks about introducing yourself. Let us know if you're a new or returning piano learner, what brought you to this group, what your goals are, what your struggles are with the piano, and how we can help you, how we can support you. And I'm going to wrap up today with a couple of quotes that are pertinent, I think, to this topic. There's no such thing as waiting for the right time. We must create it. So please don't wish that you could play the piano. Please don't wish that you had time for it. Make time for it. And you really have to prioritize yourself. We have to prioritize our self-care, and piano is part of that. So make it important, schedule it in, log it. And the next quote, exert 100% effort in each moment. To me, that's being mindful. That's what I'm working on in my practice. Staying focused and aware of this attitude of I'm being present in my musical practice instead of doing something. I mean, I get so caught up, and I'm sure others do, in checking off my to-do list that I can become frantic even in my piano practice. And I stay busy, but that's not necessarily productive. Sometimes it's even damaging, can cause tension, which can cause pain or bad habits. So I just want to encourage you to be where you are in the moment in your piano practice session. Focus on the things when you're choosing your goals. Focus on the things that will make the most impact towards your progress. Don't just stay busy at the piano. Focus on the things that are going to make the most impact towards your progress. So I'm going to leave you with 4 ideas to sum it up. Set clear goals, show up, slow down, and be mindful. So that's it. I just hope you really enjoy your piano practice this week. And please let me know if this is helpful. If you're going to join us in the piano practice challenge this week, let me know that you're going to be joining. Just say I'm in the comments there, and we'll encourage each other and